If you want an expensive headache of a car to ruin your life, where do you go? Germany. If you want to drive a cheap, unreliable piece of trash just so you can call yourself a patriot, America. But if you want something cool, fun, and reliable, then obviously you look to Japan. And that's why I've spent literally minutes creating this list of basically my favorite cars, but also the best Japanese cars that you can buy for under 10K. And the first car on this list is the Lexus IS300. Now, you've no doubt heard of this car before because it has a 2JZ engine packed under the hood. This engine was naturally aspirated in this car, but with rear-wheel drive and a light, nimble chassis, this car is actually the perfect recipe for a sports car. This car is basically a better looking, more reliable, and more fun BMW M3. And this means the IS300 is the perfect sporty daily driver that you could take to a track day one day or drift to work another day because of the long wheelbase. And I did plan on writing some jokes about this car, but I just can't. They're just so sick. Okay, the next car is the Nissan 350Z, and if your main goal is to get arrested, then this is the perfect car. It has a 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6 that cranks out over 300 horsepower in some of the later models. It's also rear-wheel drive and extremely affordable, which means if you just want a cheap, fun sports car, then this is the perfect choice. However, the interior is really only acceptable if you're blind. It's a car for young people, okay? So if you're an adult, then you probably want something with more class, and in that case, you should take a look at the Infiniti G35. And this car is a 350Z, but it's got different styling and a leather interior, and importantly, it also has a sedan option with more doors for those of you who need somewhere to store your more. Both the coupe and the sedan version of this car look amazing, especially with a few visual added mods, and once you add on a bit of forced induction, then you basically have a budget supercar. These cars are actually no joke, and to be able to pick one up for 10 grand is honestly kind of amazing. But if you thought I was only gonna say budget supercar once in this video, well, you're dead wrong, because the next car is the second generation Toyota MR2, and this is the closest you can get to a budget supercar. It's small and light, and the engine is in the middle, which means it handles like a supercar should. The MR2 is a baby Ferrari, and once you slap a turbo on or buy a turbo version, then you actually have a bad boy car. Now, these cars are dangerous because they can be unforgiving like a supercar should be. This is a true sports car, right? And if you buy one of these, then you'll be learning to drive in an entirely different way, aka learning how to dodge trees. And the next car on this list is the Subaru Legacy, and there are many good reasons why this is on the list. First of all is the looks. Now, you could either choose a sedan or a wagon, both of which look awesome. They also have all-wheel drive as standard, and they're relatively light. For engines, you could either get a 2.5 liter turbocharged engine, or my personal favorite is the 3.0R trim, which had a 3 liter flat 6 engine. And this thing sounds like an actual fucking GT3 engine. So if you want to learn more about that, then watch this video, or maybe it's over here. It's on one of these sides. It's basically about the best sounding cars in this price range. Okay, the next car is a Japanese Mustang. No yoke. The Lexus SC400 has a proper V8 up front, it's rear-wheel drive, and it's about as big as an aircraft carrier. And all this means that it is the perfect drift missile. This thing would be super fun to hoon around with. It's wet out and you can just drift every single corner on your way to McDonald's. These cars also have a long wheelbase, which means it'll pretty much drift itself. You just need to be there in the driver's seat so you can take credit for it. Also, because it's a Lexus and it has a 1UZ V8, this engine could go to 1,000,000 miles without a teardown. But you know what's better than reliable power? Unreliable power, and that's why this list has the Mazda RX8. Now, this bad boy actually only has a 1.3 liter rotisserie engine, but it still makes nearly 250 horsepower. It's also rear-wheel drive and a purpose-built sports car. These things handle well and they rev really high. Rotisserie engines are just the perfect platform for putting on a turbo. This car would be super fun to just fly down the back roads in, revving the piss out of the engine, and just enjoying the nice chassis on the roads, but only for about 5 miles because, you know, every 5 miles or something, you gotta rebuild the engine. Also, you should only buy this car if you don't mind those stupid, ugly rear doors. Honestly, what was wrong with the regular 2+2 seating configuration that car makers have been doing for the last 100 billion fucking years? Mazda just ruined a perfectly good sports car with these stupid doors. Oh, I'm sick of looking at it. Okay, also this car has an annoying buzzer when you get really high in the rev range, and I would definitely try to remove that if I own this car. I think the common fix for that is just to fucking ram it into a tree. Alright, and now we're on to the honorable mentions for this list, and the first is the Lexus IS second generation. Because if you just came here looking for a nice normal daily driver, this is one of the best choices. Now, it only came in automatic, but it did have paddle shifters, though it's still no Lamborghini Ferrari gearbox. This is more the car for like stance boys or someone who just wants a luxurious, nice daily driver. They were offered with a V6 engine, so it's decently powerful, and they're also rear-wheel drive. And if you just want a nice daily driver, then here it is, part 2, the Acura TSX. Now, this might actually be the best looking sedan on this entire list. It's based on Honda Accord, and it also came with a Honda K-Series engine, which is Honda's fucking go fast, eat ass engine. This car will just be really reliable, decently fun. Honestly, it's perfect if front-wheel drive doesn't bother you. But if you're after more speed than a inline-4 can offer, then take a look at the Honda Accord V6. This is low-key a sleeper car because Honda V6s are great. I mean, they're torquey, they pull hard, and they just sound mean as shit. Honestly, try to get a manual one of these, and this will just be a fun motherfucker. Now, if these options don't sound fun enough, then check out this video because there's a lot more fun cars that you can buy for $10K on that list. And yeah, after you watch that, just go out, start a business or something, make some money, and then buy a sick-ass car, okay? Because that's what's life about. That's what life is about. Yeah, nothing else. Just buying nice cars, all right?